It's Mailbag Monday here on CHGO Blackhawks. Has Connor Bedard silenced the critics? Joey's loud in there. It's distracting. Lots more coming up next on CHGO Blackhawks. Welcome into Mailbag Monday on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast, presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use our code CHGO365 when you sign up, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. We thank you for being with us on this Mailbag Monday, this snowy day in Chicago. Hope you got your shoveling done, because I think more might be coming. That's
my driveway in Grays Lake was melted by the sun. The snow there.
I had to wake up and shovel. I was unhappy about that.
I had a thought when I woke up. I was like, do I need to shovel this? And I was like, well, we don't need to leave for another hour or so. Sun came out, gone. All good.
Brutal.
Let nature do its job.
Yeah, tough.
Nature's
we got about 2 inches in Homewood. Not too bad.
Yeah. It's funny. So you had a lot of snow. My parents and my sister up in Wisconsin, they got pelted with snow. But right down like the middle of the northern Illinois, yeah, we were fine.
Dodged a bullet. Good for you. Don't worry. We'll get it. I love snow. I was just not ready to shovel. I was ready for snow, not ready to shovel. Anyway, that's not why you're here. You're here to hit the like button. So do that. Subscribe while you're there.
Your number one reason.
That's exactly why you came. And make sure you're following us on your favorite podcast app as well. We would appreciate that big time. All right, we got a bursting mailbag, so let's not waste any more time. Let's get right to it with our first mailbag of the day. This one comes to us from our pal, Lord Tobias, and he says, Jay, Mario, are we just going to ignore what Petey said on the What Chaos show? I thought he was an intelligent man, and I look forward to his thoughts and breakdowns, but him slandering Bedard in that interview was just wrong. Bedard's a nice player, but he needs good players around him to be good. Celebrini can do it all by himself.
Slanderous.
Tell me you hate Bedard and the Hawks without telling me you hate Bedard and the Hawks. All right, for context, let's play back what Petey said exactly on What Chaos, and we'll talk about it a little bit.
Hear this slander.
Slander!
I think what's exciting is what you said. When you go back to let's go back to the World Cup 2016, you're talking Matthews, McKinnon, McDavid, and all that young core, and you go, oh my gosh, these guys are the future of the NHL. Well, this new crop, the amount of talent and skill in this group of players, the game is clearly continuing to change and evolve and get better talent-wise. And I think we're going to talk about some of the teams that are struggling, and we're looking at it because they've got veteran good players. Well, that's not what winning anymore. Like, you need these young players. That Anaheim Duck team is phenomenal to watch. But Macklin Celebrini is the best. Hands down, he's the guy. Bedard's a nice player, but Bedard needs players around him to be good for him to be good. Macklin Celebrini can do it by himself, and I think that's the differentiator between those two. Macklin Celebrini is absolutely elite, and I just wish for his sake and maybe for hockey's sake. I think it's great that he's in San Jose. I think it's great for West Coast hockey. I think it's great. The problem is he's not getting enough eyes nationally because he's not playing in Pittsburgh, Boston, New York, Washington, and I think more people would appreciate how he is playing right now if they were getting more eyes on him.
Slanderous nonsense.
Man, I did just put away my pitchfork for the winter. But,
you did, yeah. Well, I put it away after the Mariners lost.
Yeah,
that's right. Packed it away.
Well, I was done shoveling hay, but I think I need to get it out for Petey, because that cannot stand. We can't let that stand.
You know what? I think we installed the Ring camera in Petey's office. Let's see if he's sitting there. Petey.
Wait, what?
Hey, Petey.
Hey,
why do you hate Connor Bedard?
CHGO on this snowy Monday morning, 90 degrees in Scottsdale, Arizona today. Just thought I'd throw that out there. I know I look at all the jerky. I apologize for that. It's the internet here in Arizona. Hey, I'm sorry. I will say this. You're looking at two guys, both under 20 or under, that are in the top 5 in scoring in the National Hockey League, carrying their teams. What Connor Bedard has done over the last 10 games, 19 points in the last 10 games, is absolutely amazing. Celebrini's got 18 during that time. They're two great players. I'm just saying I might have given it a little edge to Macklin Celebrini. Connor Bedard has lifted this team into a playoff spot right now. He's got 0.92 points per game in his entire career. Dude's a stud. I am not taking anything away from Connor Bedard. Phenomenal player. Fantastic player. Would have taken him in Arizona all day long. As a matter of fact, we tried to lose to get him, but we didn't. And so I do apologize to the CHGO faithful. I think as the season progresses, I hope they both tear it up as young players under 20 years old.
Yeah. Well, and I think they will, as the way that they've been going. And honestly, I don't think you're too far off. But I will say that it's not that Celebrini is on a team devoid of talent as well. Like, he's been paired with Will Smith, and those two have thrived together. But Connor Bedard now playing with and engaged and like playing his best type of hockey since he's been here in Chicago, Tyler Bertuzzi. Mm-hmm. Andre Burakovsky seems like he's had a career resurgence so far through the first few seasons. That's the guy he's been paired with pretty much most often, and it's all working out. So best line mates he's had since he's been here in Chicago. I think there is proof behind what you said, but also as a teenager on terrible teams, he led the team in scoring both years.
Yeah. And he gave a career year to Philip Kurashev and Ryan Donato, as Crumpos points out.
Yes.
Nate.
Yeah. Well, I apologize to CHGO and all of the Blackhawk fans. Connor Bedard has been absolutely amazing. He's pulled this team into a playoff spot, and they're playing meaningful games a month into the season. But last year, both of these teams were 1 point out of last, and they're both – San Jose's a point out of a playoff spot right now. It's great for hockey, and let's keep an eye on these two as the season continues. I do feel bad, Jay. I do. So if there's anything I can do for you and CHGO, please let me know.
All right, well, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you a penance, and I'm going to give you a week to work on it. For next week, you got to come on, give us what Bedard has done this year to improve, the things you've seen that has made him go from good to great. And I also want to get your take on if this team is like legitimately in the playoff conversation right now. They're right there in the race. We're getting close to American Thanksgiving, which we know is kind of an arbitrary but scientifically proven benchmark for playoff compatibility. So is it smoke and mirrors? Is it real? That's your assignment for next week.
I am on it, and I saw someone in the chat talked about defensively. Hey, they're both plus minus. They're both in the plus, and that's something neither one of those guys could say over a year ago. So I will do this. I've taken on my penance, and I will provide this to you guys and everybody at CHGO next week.
And 3 Hail Marys and a Glory Be, please.
I'm on it.
All right. Thanks, Petey.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
All right.
Thanks, Petey.
We love you. There he is. There's Petey. He is literally inside the coach's room.
He is. I'm glad that camera that we installed and the shock collar when we need him is working. So that's good.
Yes. Good stuff. Good sport. Willing to come. As soon as I said people are mad at you, he's like, oh boy, I'm going to come on and face the music. So that was great.
I also, so in listening to the What Chaos show with Petey and wanting to hear the context of what everyone was saying about what Petey had said, I also loved their conversation about the Team North America aspect of the World Cup.
I love that
how
too.
It's not going to be a thing moving forward, and how awesome it was 10 years ago when they did it, and how awesome it would be if they did it this year. And it's just crazy to think. And I think they made the point, like, if you did a under 23 just NHL team in the World Cup, like not just North America, but like you add in Leo Carlson and Demidov and those guys, that team might be favored to win the tournament. If you have Bedard and Celebrini and Schaefer and Demidov
23
and Leo
under.
Carlson. And
Who's your goalie?
Dustin Wolf.
Dustin Wolf is 24.
Skarov?
Maybe. Drew Camesso, my friend.
He would qualify.
Yeah. That would be the only thing would be goaltending.
Goaltending you might roll the dice out there. But even still, like, you could find some decent young guys.
Find somebody.
Yeah,
they're going to score. Don't worry.
It's a short tournament. Yeah, right. They're going to
anyway,
have the ability, but that would be fun.
In defense of PD's point, I think if you went around and you asked 31 NHL GMs, which of these two do you think today is a more complete player? I think the majority of them would say Macklin Celebrini. Yeah. It's not taking anything away from what Connor Bedard is doing. I think Connor Bedard may have a career that ends with more points than Macklin Celebrini's does. It might be a longer career than Macklin Celebrini's, but Bedard is closing that gap defensively. Look, last year there was no question about it that Celebrini was better. He had more points, better defensively. He was better undeniably. As much as we hated the conversation, it was true. He was better. This year, Bedard has certainly narrowed or closed or even maybe passed him. When you dig into the numbers, his defensive game has been really solid. But it's almost like thinking back to the Hawks dynasty where are you a Taves guy or are you a Kane guy? Mm-hmm. Right? Like they're both great in their own respects. And I think history will say Patrick Kane was the better player. But if you ask me during that time, from 2010 to 2015, you got to lose one of these two players, Kane or Taves. I would have said Kane 10 out of 10 times because Taves was he did everything right. So I think Celebrini has that little bit of an edge right now on Bedard. It doesn't mean that Bedard is bad or that he sucks or that he's a bust or that he's not generational or anything like that. You've got two of the best players in the league right now, near the top of the scoring sheet, 20 years old. It's unbelievable. It's a great place for hockey. It's a great place for the sport to be, and people are allowed their opinions. I don't think saying that you'd prefer Macklin Celebrini over Connor Bedard is a sort of take where you had to apologize for.
Yeah, I don't think it is. Do you like French vanilla or vanilla bean? Like, they're both vanillas. They're both very good, and it's a very small difference I think it's a very small difference in the impacts that they have because they're both at that elite level so early in their career. Offensively, what kind of game changer can Connor Bedard be? Elite level guy.
Yes.
Like all around game, what kind of game changer can Macklin Celebrini be? Elite level guy. Like it's to the Blackhawks context, your Taves King comparison is spot on. Like both guys, you need both types of players in your franchise to win. Mm-hmm. So I think the Hawks, they have one of those guys. Now they need to find who's going to be that elite level all around guy. Could it be Frank Nazar? Could he eventually get to that level? Maybe. Could it be Anton Frondel, who's got the offensive pop, who was in his, leading up to the draft, a lot was made of his defensive responsibility and his ability to play physically and engage 200 feet. Could he be the all-around guy that could be at that elite level? Potentially. Could you do it by committee and say we have guys like Nazar and Boisvert and Oliver Moore and all these young players that are also, adept defensively, that you say, look, we don't have a Jonathan Taves, but we have a committee of players that collectively play good enough defense that you don't need one guy to do it, to be the head of the defensive forward group. Like there's different ways to do it, but I think where the Hawks are set up, you have the irreplaceable factor of Connor Bedard, and now you're kind of finding the rest of those pieces. And with the Sharks, they've got that irreplaceable factor in Macklin Celebrini, and now they're adding the pieces. Defensive depth, who would you rather have, the Hawks or the Sharks? I'd rather have the Hawks.
Hawks, 100%.
Both players at the top of their organizations are doing what the organizations need. So it just comes down to, who's your personal favorite? Are you a Sharks fan or a Hawks fan, basically?
I mean, that's kind of what it is. But I think that's why when you get the opinion of someone from out of town, sure, I don't think that PD watches the Hawks as closely as we do, obviously. He probably doesn't watch the Sharks as closely as most Sharks analysts do, yeah. Of course. Yeah. No one can watch all 32 teams the same way we all watch the Hawks, right? Mm-hmm. But it's more of it's a personal preference, and I think still, if you listen around the league of if one of these guys is going to make the Team Canada, who is it going to be? It is still tipped in Celebrini's favor. it just is what it is. That is a reputation around the league, and I think Connor Bedard has some work to do to get rid of the reputation that he had fairly or unfairly earned over the last couple of years. Lord Host had a comment too that we're not addressing that. What he said, what Petey said was that Bedard needs players around him to make him better. Let's not forget, we spent the last 2 years, a lot of people in this chat, screaming from the hilltops to get Connor Bedard help. Mm-hmm. It is something that I have said.
He can't do it alone.
Something you have said. Something most people in the chat have said. Look, this last stretch has proven that he is the elite player that we thought he was going to be. Mm-hmm. But we can't delete the 2 previous years of history and how it looked sometimes.
Which player, not named Wayne Gretzky, in hockey history has done it alone?
Even Wayne Gretzky didn't do it alone.
Right. Or could do it alone. I'll put it that way. Who could do it alone?
Who could do it alone? I think McDavid could do it alone.
They tried.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even him, he's had Draisaitl his entire career.
Right.
You know, he had a prime Taylor Hall for a number of years. He's had Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for a number of years. Like, they've had guys around him. Zach Hyman for the last few years has been great for Connor McDavid. Like, he's not even doing it alone. Crosby had Malkin and Letang and Marc-Andre Fleury for his entire career, basically, except for Fleury. Taze and Kane and Keith and Seabrook, like every team that has been at the top of the NHL has been led by a top end superstar, has had help around them.
Yeah.
Like it's Sarah made the point. It's a team game. Like that's just how it works.
Yes.
It's not tennis.
Hockey
is not tennis.
Put it on a t-shirt. Tennis. All right, we got it. We're late.
Semantics.
We're late for the break zone. We'll continue this conversation on the other side of the break. Do us a favor, hit that like button. We'll talk to you in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks, presented by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And with their early payout offer, you're a winner if your football team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. So download the app and use our code CHGO365 when you sign up. Monday Night Football, Eagles and Packers, you get a 50% super profit boost token on same game parlays. Let's hope the Eagles get that 17-point lead and never look back. Mm-hmm. So if you're a new customer, you're going to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet 5, win or lose. So sign up, use our code CHGO365, deposit $10, place a bet for 5 to get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. And those bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You must be 21 plus. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Offer is in-app only.
And hey, athletes, here's a question. Are you serious about leveling up your game? If you answered yes, the right coach can change everything, and now finding one is easier than ever with Eye on the Ball. Doesn't matter if you're a kid just starting out or you're competing at the top levels, you can sign up completely free at eyeontheball.net. All you got to do is create your profile, search through the coaches in your sport, and connect directly with the one that's right for you. From soccer to swimming, baseball to basketball, football to hockey, you name it, the coaches are out there. So what are you waiting for? Your future coach could be one click away. Jump on today at eyeontheball.net. Again, that's eyeontheball.net. Find your coach and take your game to the next level. And coaches, they need you too over there at eyeontheball.net. You can sign up. And they have an offer going on right now. You can get your first 6 months completely free. Try it out, grow your coaching profile, and help the next generation of athletes.
And Taking the Temp is presented by our friends at Four Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Go to Four Seasons. Get your coupons. It's great stuff. We love them.
You're going to need it when it gets cold.
Yes,
soon.
Because it is getting cold.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So you want to visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for those coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. Get on top of it. So the temp is people are still mad, even though PD came on and apologized. So the argument here is, does Bedard make people better? Does Celebrini make people better? And you look at Celebrini's main line mates this year have been Will Smith and Tyler Toffoli. The vast majority of the season, those have been his line mates.
NHL veteran and Blackhawks version of Frank Nazar.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Next to them up front, time on ice common partners is Philip Kurashev and Jeff Skinner. Those are the next two in terms of common line mates.
Okay.
Now, with Bedard, we know it's been Tyler Bertuzzi. It's been Burakovsky primarily.
A little bit of Ryan Green, a little bit of Donato. Who else? Who started the season with him?
Well, Donato was the first game, and then immediately was...
It was Donato, Burakovsky. They've used Green. They've used Doc.
Yeah, Doc had a couple games.
Bertuzzi. Yeah, that's the most of the combinations
so,
he's had.
Yes, has Celebrini had better line mates primarily than Bedard? Yeah, I would say that, but I don't think the gap between Smith and Toffoli and Bertuzzi and Burakovsky is as vast as it seems. Bertuzzi's was, correct me if I'm wrong, he had a 30-goal season before coming to Chicago.
Yeah, he had one 30-goal season with the Red Wings. That was his career year.
Yeah,
under Blashill.
So it's and when healthy, Burakovsky's put up good numbers, not as high as he's doing right now, but
he had
pretty high numbers
in the Cup year with the Avalanche. He had like 62 points, I think it was.
Yeah,
like pretty good year.
Yeah, look, I'm not trying to take Team Celebrini on this, but I just think the notion that PD should be run out of town on a rail because he opted for Celebrini over Bedard. I don't think it's there because we had heard so much about this. And people were so mad, and we both were like, well, God, we got to go hear what Petey said. And that was it? It just seemed kind of, I don't know. It seemed a little unbalanced. But look, they're both awesome. And you mentioned Scott Wheeler's poll on Twitter, which I thought was really interesting, the results of that.
Yes. Friend of the program, Scott Wheeler, says, you're the GM of Team Canada for the Olympics. Do you take Bedard, Celebrini, neither, or both? And we can update this tomorrow when the poll closes in 23 hours. But so far, through 968 votes, almost fun, both is leading with 62.6%, Celebrini at 30%, Bedard at 4%, and neither at 3%. So
take them both.
Take them both.
Get Mark Stone out of here.
He might not even be healthy,
right?
By the time,
he
probably will be. But yeah, I don't see a reason in which you can't take both. I still go back to the 2010 Canadian Olympic group, which, granted, worked out for them, but they didn't bring Steven Stamkos, and he scored 50+ goals that season.
Yeah.
Like, there have been really good players that have been left off teams. Phil Kessel was famously left off the 2016 Team USA World Cup of Hockey team.
Ridiculous.
And they didn't do well. Like, you got to take the guys that... I think you have to take the players that are proving to you that they have... Like, they're at the top of their games. You have your cemented in players for Canada. It's Crosby, it's Makar, it's McKinnon, all those guys, McDavid, they're all cemented in. Fine.
Yeah, of course.
But I think you have to take some of the guys that are going to push you forward. That you got to capitalize on it. And whether it's taking Celebrini and Bedard and just saying, you know what, you guys are along for the ride. You might not play every game, but you're going to be here and you're going to get this experience because in 2030 or at the World Cup of Hockey or whatever, in the next few years, you're going to be on these teams. Like, we want to give you that experience. You can even do that.
Yeah.
And you could do worse off for having players like that.
And I was
going to
say, Giggity's brings up Sam Bennett. Great. Like, Sam Bennett, a huge part of what Florida's doing, but all of a sudden, now that it's up to Sam Bennett to be the A1 guy in the Panthers, how's that working out?
Yeah.
Not so great, right? And again, it's nothing against him. And remember, Olympic hockey is played on international ice. So you don't need these big lumbering meatheads out there.
When it's in Europe. I think it was on
Italy,
NHL.
not in Europe?
Yeah. No, I'm saying, but when it was in Vancouver, I think it was on NHL
But these
ice.
Olympics will be played on international ice.
Yes, you're right.
So Why do you want big lumbering Brad Marchand and Sam Bennett and Mark Stone?
Tom Wilson.
Right. Like, take one of those guys.
Yeah.
So you've got a physical, grindy guy when games get that way. But, like, don't you want skill? Don't you want speed? Mm-hmm. I don't know. And this this is what we were talking about the other day when we put a little video out about it today about Jeff Blashill, where Jeff Blashill, to me, he's got the old school mentality of finish your checks, get in front of the net, play the game the way it's been played for all these years, and you'll get results because that's proven.
Right.
But he's also saying, but you're more talented than this veteran. So I don't want to hear about paying dues. I don't want to hear about waiting your turn. If I'm the GM of Team Canada, I'm looking at Celebrini and Bedard at the top of the scoring sheet, knowing that for both those teams, they are the primary player that the other team worries about. Mm-hmm. And they still have not been stopped. Right?
Right.
So with that in mind, there's nothing that makes me think that they're going to get on international ice and all of a sudden, oh my God, what can we don't know how to play at this level. Of course they do. They will be absolutely fine. And look, I know there's a lot of pride that goes into winning medals and there's a lot of pride that goes into competing in the Olympics, but make no mistake, this is also an opportunity to grow the NHL. Think about what those Vancouver games did for the NHL in terms of a popularity boost. Was it short-lived? Probably, but it's the same thing when the World Cup of Soccer happens, is you gain a whole bunch of people suddenly get into soccer, right? Like, oh man, that was awesome. This is me. I'm going to choose my Premier League team. I'm going to really get into it. And then I do it for a year or two. And then I okay, it lingers off a little bit. I get busy. But if 20% of those people like me hung on and stayed as diehard new soccer fans, it's great. The NHL has the same opportunity at the Olympics to gain new fans. And who is going to get eyeballs on TVs? Connor Bedard and Macklin Celebrini or Mark Stone and Sam Bennett? Come on.
Yeah, I think if you're going by who's got the hot ticket, that's who you want to go with. I don't want to step all over your point here, but this year's Olympics will be on NHL ice.
Oh,
well, it was on NHL ice in Vancouver and Beijing. But I think even outside of the point of the size of the ice and how it changes how you want the lineup to go, you want those players. I still think you want those players.
Right.
You want Celebrini.
I mean, it does
Bedard.
give Bennett and those guys a little more value.
Sure, but I think do you look at the tournament as, do you look at it as a 7-game series, like a playoff, like a NHL playoff style thing, where it's just like by the time we get to games 5, 6, and 7, this team's going to be beat down? No, you're playing different teams every game.
Right.
So, and it's what, maximum 8 games if you play for a medal. So like there is value in having those types of players when you want to maybe match up against other teams that are maybe play that style or are bigger. But I think you still need your best players, your most skilled players, to be there, and then you figure it out from there. I think of, what was it, might have been again the 2010 Olympic team for Canada, but you had Rick Nash playing on the fourth line. Is Rick Nash a fourth liner in his career ever?
Nope,
not until the end when he was with Boston. But you have guys that they're at the tops of their games, and then they fall in line. I don't know. I think if you're constructing the roster to be like, we need penalty killers and we need power forwards, and then we'll have 6 guys that are top end skilled and all that stuff. Like I think you're setting yourself. That's what USA did for the World Cup of Hockey when John Tortorella was at the charge of it. Big surprise that it didn't work out. But they were like, we need Justin Abdelkader and we need freaking, who else was on that team? Yeah, it was a group that was just like, no, this isn't going to work.
They were going with we're not
tournament.
going to make a fantasy team. We're going to build a team that can win and play together and
play 4 games. Yeah.
So
it's
exactly
like you want to. I don't know. I'm in favor of for an Olympic team, you need to have the players that are at the tops of their games, and you gotta look at who is best on best, who's going to match up. And sure, there's a little credence to the guys being able to handle the moment, but Celebrini and Bedard have been on the World Junior stage. Yep. They've been on the international stage before for Team Canada for the World Championships. They've been there. That like I know, and you know what? It's been 12 years since we've had Olympic hockey. So there's going to be guys that are on all of these teams that have never played Olympic hockey before.
Right.
So, you can have Crosby and Marchand and all those guys, but like you still, I still think you can take both of them and you're not going to be wrong.
Yeah, we got to hit the brakes and we will. But I think there's some sort of concern from the people in charge. Like, well, the Four Nations was a war of attrition. It's not. This is the Olympics. It's different. The rules are different. The game is different.
You're not going to get the Team USA, Team Canada group stage game that you got at
you're
Four
not.
Nations at
You're
the
not.
Olympics.
Skill is going to win this thing at the Olympics and bring the skilled players. Let's go. All right, we're going to hit the break zone.
Go USA. I hope they don't take either of them.
Fair enough. Yeah, we want USA to win. So, yes, give me all the Mark Stone you can. All right, we'll talk to you in 2 minutes. Let's get to 100 likes. We're right there. Let's be there by the time we're back in 2 minutes on CHGO Blackhawks, presented by Bet365. Winter will be here before you know it officially on the calendar.
Snow's on the ground.
It's here now. There's snow. Winter's here. How did your heating hold up? Were you cold last night? Well, now is the time to schedule your Four Seasons furnace tune-up. Do it now. You can save up to $4,000 on furnaces and comfort systems with Four Seasons heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electric. Furnaces start at $39 a month and a furnace AC combo from $57 a month. Call today and save $50 from your trusted local experts at Four Seasons Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric and Heating. I forgot to say heating. They've been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. Do yourself a favor right now before it gets frigid, before it's Arctic and you have an emergency on your hands. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. Keep your house nice and warm this winter.
And just because it's winter doesn't mean you can't wear sunglasses. You sometimes need them after those snowfalls and those sunny days. It's so bright out there, you can't see while you're driving. Not with our friends at Shady Rays. They're the ones that can help you block out all that snow blindness and keep you looking cool while you're driving or on the slopes. They got goggles at Shady Rays as well. But you can focus on their sunglasses because they changed the game. The sunglasses are made for real life, seriously good looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. The best part is if you lose or break them, even on the first day you have them, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trips, just replacements. Now you can wear your sunglasses without fear on hikes, at concerts, on the boat, while you're driving, on the slopes, wherever Shady Rays Eyewear has your back. We've teamed up with them for a long time, and we're bringing you an exclusive offer. Go to shadyrays.com, use the code CHGO. You're going to get 35% off of their polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The Shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
All right, we are over 100 likes. Thank you very much. If this was a postgame, Noodle Man would be going, but he's not. He's resting for Wednesday. Hey, you want to become a diehard? A CHGO diehard, that is? You should. Scan that QR code on your screen right now to become a diehard, or go to allchgo.com/join. Use our code Hawks. Here's what you're going to get. Everything diehard perked, right? Mm-hmm. The shirt for free, premium content, 20% off merch, 20% off events, all that stuff for $36 for the year. That is the lowest price we have ever offered. Take advantage of it. And it is crucial that you use our code Hawks.
Yes.
So we win the intercompany sweepstakes.
The pizza party.
And take down those jerks at the Bears and those swell fellas at the Bulls and everybody else. But we got to beat the Bears at something, damn it. Let's go.
Yeah.
Use that code Hawks. There's the link on your screen. allchgo.com/Hawks-offer-show. Or just go to allchgo.com and use our code Hawks. And when you do that, you will save 20% on our final takeover that still has tickets available.
Still some
Hawks
tickets available.
and Sharks season finale 100 level tickets. Mm-hmm. There's only a handful left, so become a diehard and then take advantage of those savings today. That's going to be a fun time.
All this Bedard and Celebrini talk, we can see them play in person.
They might both be resting for the playoffs that game. Can you imagine?
No refunds.
It would be insane.
I also don't think that they would do that.
No, I don't think so either. By the way,
I think the league would be like, those two are playing.
We've only answered one mailbag question. We're 35 minutes in, so
That's
sorry.
how it goes.
But one last thing before we move on to an actual mailbag question. We've been talking a lot about the Sharks and the Hawks with Bedard and Celebrini. The Anaheim Ducks,
Yes. Very
legit. Leo Carlson should be in this conversation too. And tomorrow night, Avalanche Ducks. I'm going to be locked and loaded for that one.
It's going to be fun.
The Avs beat the Oilers 9-1.
9
this weekend.
times. Oilers are
That was in Edmonton,
Are
right?
the Oilers bad? Their goaltending's not helping them.
What? The Oilers
know.
have bad goaltending?
I'm shocked.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. It's fun. It's fun seeing all these teams that have gone through these rebuild processes, starting to see the fruits of their labors. Like the Mammoth look great.
Yep.
The former Arizona Coyotes. Yes,
that game was in Edmonton.
The Ducks. Those are two teams that we talked about this offseason. Like the Hawks could do what those two teams did last year. They might be doing what those teams are going to do this year at the same time. Blackhawks are like they're hitting the upswing. Sharks are hitting the upswing.
Yep.
Like Montreal definitely hitting, like they've upswung. So it's fun seeing those teams now start to kind of change the tides of like who's at the top of the standings, who's the playoff teams, and making some of these teams that are veteran laden and battle tested and long playoff, like they're giving them runs for their money. So as it happens every year, teams that make the playoffs one year could be completely out of it the next year, and some teams that are completely out of it surprise you and make the playoffs.
Yeah, your Eastern Conference playoffs that they started today. Montreal, Boston, Ottawa, Carolina, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, just as we all predicted.
Yeah.
Tampa and Philly with the wild card spots. The West would be Colorado, Dallas, Chicago, Anaheim, Vegas, Seattle, with Winnipeg and Utah in the wild card spots.
So out in the East would be Toronto.
Right now, Detroit, Toronto,
Florida.
Islanders, Rangers, Caps, Panthers, Blue Jackets, and Sabres are out.
Sure.
In the West, Kings, Sharks, Wild, Canucks, Oilers, Preds, Blues, and Flames are all out.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
You know who's ass? The Blues.
Yeah, they're bad. Their goaltending
That's
is
a
terrible.
shame.
And
You hate to see
that's
it.
going to bode well for not bode well for Team Canada too, because they don't have any goaltenders. Catch all our Team USA watch-alongs for the Olympics.
Yes, let's do that. All right, mailbag questions. Let's go.
All right, second mailbag question.
I love that this is our second one. Mutt 0311 says, do you think Nathan McKinnon is overrated?
Yes.
You do?
No.
I
my
don't.
God, no.
Okay,
No.
next question.
He leads the league in scoring. He's awesome.
He is a hockey robot.
He's very good.
He is like Hossa times 10.
He's like Hossa if Hossa was like mean and angry all the time.
Yes.
That's how Nathan McKinnon is.
Yeah,
All right,
we
yes,
can move
next,
on. Thanks for the question, Mutt. Alex A. Swiss says regarding the refs, I don't get that none of the players or coaches speak out more. There are so many really bad calls and almost no beep said about it. For example, listen to Stamkos talking about the Minnesota goal. It's a joke. Are they all part-time politicians? I think they're avoiding fines.
Yeah, they're
They don't want to get fined.
They don't want to get fined, because if you go off and badmouth the refs publicly, then you know what you're not going to get? The calls.
Right.
Because the refs are going to say, you hurt my feelings publicly, and now I don't like you, and you're uninvited to the cabin in the summer. And now you're not going to get the penalties called.
I mean, look, that's how it is. If you just look back to the Detroit
And I'll say,
game with Bertuzzi.
that's stupid.
The Detroit game with Bertuzzi.
Yeah.
They were unhappy that he called them out for a bad call, and they punished him throughout the game for it.
Yeah.
So when he got cross-checked, no call.
Nothing happened.
To me, the big thing that they could do to fix this is make the referees have to talk to the media
have to
and
hold them
answer for their
accountable,
exactly. There is no
NBA
accountability
does it.
at all.
NFL does it?
I think they do it as needed. But I will also say this, though. The NFL has every game has a rules analyst to come on and say they got that wrong.
Of course, yeah.
They completely blew that.
They sometimes do that with NHL games. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's obviously only the national. The TV thing is different. But if they had that more often, or yes, I agree. Having the NHL officials have and availability to the media when necessary. Like if like they're referencing that goal that they allowed where the net was sideways, like the ref you should be able to say, like, can we get the official explanation from the referee why that goal was called? And yeah, you can get the official explanation and say, well, the goaltender in our view and after video replay shoved the net off of its moorings on their own, so the goal was allowed. Well then say that. Because if you don't say that and you just say, good goal, skate off
the
ice,
the ice, goal stands.
Yeah, everyone's going to be like,
it's
what
unsatisfactory.
the hell are you talking
Tell
about?
me why.
Yeah.
Get the Ed Hockley version of the man was giving him the business.
Someone who's super jacked out there.
Yeah, but it's just
tell us that.
You don't want, as you're watching these games, as a fan, you don't want to feel cheated. And by the way, I thought that goal, that should be a goal.
Right.
They kicked the net off the moorings.
If they shoving the thing off,
yes, that should have been a
purposefully, then yeah, you say that's what's allowed.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you explain why.
Yeah. It's better to explain yourself than to just say, nope, that's what I said. Now we're gone.
And Lauren Hossa brings up the Chris Rooney thing with Bedard last year where he gave Bedard a misconduct.
Right, yeah, I remember.
I forgot about that until he just mentioned it. And I was like, I'm still mad about that.
It popped up on my feed like 2 days ago. John Boy, like they did, like Zaprudered it. Like here's what Bedard is saying.
Yeah.
I don't know why it just popped up again, but
did they ever relook at that?
No, why would they?
Like,
there's no accountability at all. But all he said was like, that's a bad call or it's a weak call or, and he said, okay, buddy, when the ref skated away.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Give the Chillage Blackhawks says, give the refs thicker pads and allow the players to hit them.
I like that.
Sure.
I like that.
You're on the ice.
Yeah, it's
fair
just
play.
It is aggravating as a fan to feel like you got cheated. And I think just having a rule explained to you correctly. And look, maybe you don't have the ref do it on the ice because logistically maybe it doesn't sound great, fine. Have a rules analyst standing by. I know it's hard to do because you don't have all national broadcasts like the NFL does, but you maybe make somebody available in that room in Toronto that all broadcasts have the ability to use if they need them.
They say, hey, you're going to call into, I know the logistics of it sound crazy, but you're going to call into Detroit, Chicago.
Yeah, but there's four games a night or something.
Right.
It's
well,
not,
yeah, and they're not always all happening at one time.
Right. Yeah. Just some transparency would be helpful in that regard. All right, next one. Bedadeless.
Mr. Potato
Right?
Head.
Yeah. With the current young roster
Bedadeless.
hopefully playing for the next several years and the talk of wanting to create sustained success in mind, would you rather draft more prospect players with higher ceilings?
Project players.
Thank you. Project players with higher ceilings or more safe bets with higher floors? Personally, I think the scouting has been good enough to keep the pipeline full of high ceiling prospects and give them more time to cook. So this is if you want to go high end, this is Levshov versus Demidov, right? Because you feel very safe that Levshov is going to be a really good player. Demidov was less of a known commodity because he played in Russia. There was also the factor of will he come or not to the United States. Okay. Or it's like your home run swing Mason West draft pick, right? Like okay, we don't know for sure this guy is going to be an NHL player, but we feel like this has potential to be a superstar level player when he fully commits himself to hockey. That sort of a swing, or do you like the safer sort of a pick?
I think at this stage in the rebuild, you have the flexibility to go with more of those project guys. That Sam Renzel was a project pick when he was selected and then was ahead of schedule. Trying to think, what were some of the other longer term guys that they got? Mason West is one.
Nestersil's one.
Nestersil is thought of one. Yeah, goalies. Yeah. But I mean, like, I think you should always feel comfortable in who you're taking, whether they're a project or you think that they're going to be more immediate. I would rather, even still with where the prospect system is at right now, I don't think you change your strategy. Go with the guys that you believe are going to be the difference makers. I'm not saying boom or bust, take a wild swing on somebody, but I think you want to trust in your scouting staff, trust in what you're seeing, and I think a lot of the guys that they've gone with are working out. They're at the tops of their leagues in scoring, production, things like that. Like, it's been really impressive. So I would continue to err on the side of go for the guys that you think have the higher ceiling of success than feeling like, well, they might not be a top tier first round, like a first round pick. It's like, well, they might not pan out to be like top 6 forward or a top pair defenseman, but we know at least they'll play in the NHL. Like, no, go for the guy that you think is going to have the higher upside and the bigger star potential. Well, this is the thing, like, because that's what wins in the league.
Like, I never understood this. Like, if you think the guy has potential to be an outstanding all-star level player, is the other outcome he's ass and just never plays in a league? Like,
well, it's like the boom bust potential.
But,
like,
yeah, I don't know. Like, but if you think a guy has the tools to be absolutely great, why is the alternative bust out? I think it's kind of strange. I would like to know a comparison. Like,
I think
think of a comparison of a guy who was like that, where, man, everyone thought this guy was going to max out, and some people took a swing on him, and he just turned out to be nothing. Like, you could say, like, Nail Yakupov was maybe that guy, but Yakupov was at the time not a risky pick. Everyone knew he was going to be the first guy taken. Rick DiPietro, the same. They got Islandered. What are you going to do? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there are. The way I think of this question is kind of how it was approached this last summer, where we had the discussion around pick number 3, and it was more along the lines of like Frondel, Misa, Desnoyers, like that, like where it was like Frondel seemed more of the kind of like he's probably got a higher upside than, let's say, Desnoyers has, but you feel like Desnoyers at his floor is still a like third line center,
right?
But at his peak, it's not what Frondel's peak is.
Yeah,
that's how I would frame it.
Yeah.
So I still err on the side of like take the guy who you think is going to have the higher peak, because that's more beneficial to you.
I agree with that too. And they have gotten, just kind of circle back on the original point, is they've gotten to this point where they have enough draft capital and prospects where you can't start taking swings. And that's why they did that with Nestor Sill and West. Drafted him probably a little higher than some people were comfortable with. But hey, they were the second and third first-round picks of the year for the Hawks, so you can kind of do that. By the way, D. Paris asked for an update on Mason West. They did win their playoff game on the 7th, which was Friday, so they advanced to the semifinals
against Minnetonka. So
purify yourself in the
waters.
Cleanse yourself
in the waters. And then, so that game is going to be at U.S. Bank Stadium in where Minnesota Gophers play. And then if he wins, goes to the state finals, which he said was his goal.
Yep.
Was his senior year to try and win a state championship in football. And then once that season's over, his hockey season begins. Exciting. It's fun. I'm glad for him that he's getting what he wanted out of his final year of high school football.
Right.
Because for guys like him who have the opportunity to play college football and guys like us who did not, that last season of high school football still means something.
Yeah.
Person to person.
You're only young once.
Thank you, Sarah. That is so true.
I'm going to coin a phrase. You only live once.
Oh. You know what you can
shorten that.
Yeah.
To YOLO.
We should get on a bracelet.
Yeah.
See? Mm-hmm. Do the kids still say YOLO, Sarah?
Trademark that.
Yeah.
Damn it.
No, the adults do now.
My thing is, as long as he doesn't get hurt, win it all.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's fine. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go to the next one here. From BJD, says, I was reading Tab at Bleacher Nation and saw the stats on the success of the power play over last season and continuing this season. He mentioned they must be doing something that stats don't reflect. I'm wondering if you guys have a take on what that might be, especially since so many people feel the power play hasn't been good until very recently.
I think the difference that we're seeing on the power play is the mix of the players that are playing together, the ideology of what they do on the power play, and then it just comes down to they've been better across the board, not just on the power play, but even at 5-on-5 and everything, they're finishing their chances. They're burying shots that they weren't last year. So I think they have a different power play mindset. We've heard from Jeff Blashill that they want defensemen to be shooting more. So I think we've seen that. Artem Levshinov and Sam Renzel have been doing a good job of at least trying to put pucks towards the net. They've done a good job, especially Levshinov recently, of distributing on the power play. And then just the mix that you've had. Bertuzzi's found a niche on the power play that's been working. Bedard's been able to find him a number of times. Burakovsky's been moved from power play 2 to power play 1. It's working. The chemistry on that group, which I don't think you can quantify statistically, but as a group, how their statistics have improved, that's your proof that I think a lot of that mix is a lot different than it was last year and the year before.
So here's a little thing too. Bedard had been playing on the left side. So he was on as a right-hand shot, he'd be on his forehand most of the time to set up for one-timers across and have, his forehand facing the majority of the ice surface. They switched him to the right side.
Natural shooting position.
Right. Yeah. They switched him to the right. So now his stick blade is on board side, which to me was like, well, why would you take that one-timer option away from him? He can still hit a one-timer, obviously, from where he's at, but a higher percentage chance if he's on the left side as a right-hand shot to take a one-timer. Switching him to that side has worked. It's also put Bertuzzi on his forehand to receive the pass in front of the net from Bedard, right? So if Bedard opts to pass to Bertuzzi on the doorstep, Bertuzzi's on his forehand.
His stick is towards the
because he's left-handed.
Yeah.
So he can see the puck coming better, can get a better look at it rather than being on his backhand, looking over his shoulder and trying to get a piece of it, or on the opposite side of the net on his backhand.
Yeah.
He could still forehand from the other side of the net. So his right, the goalie's left. Mm-hmm. But that's a harder pass to make. It's a harder thing to complete.
For what he's trying to do, you want your stick closer to the net.
Yeah.
Then you'd have to bring it in closer to the net, the opposite side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know. I think that's a little thing. When they move Bedard to the right, I kind of didn't understand it, but it has certainly worked.
Well, and slap shot is not his go-to shot,
right?
Like
he is
Ovechkin and Stamkos and
Tavo.
Now, but those guys that over their careers have done that from that left dot on the power play, they're slap shot guys. Bedard's not a slap shot guy, so he can be more of that distributor off that side, and it's worked. And he can still snipe from that side.
Perhaps we'll ask Connor and/or Tyler about that tomorrow at practice.
Sure, probably higher chance that you'll ask Connor about.
Yes, yeah. I could just chase after Tyler's truck. Tyler, I have a question.
just tailgate him.
All right, let's get a couple more in here before we wrap up. Heisenberg the 14th says, with an exception for Lardis and Frondell, who of the Blackhawks prospects who have yet to make their NHL debut are you most excited about?
Kanserov.
Yeah, Kanserov has to be the answer.
I really hope.
There?
Mason West.
Mason West,
okay. Yeah, a couple of years. Kanserov, Boisvert, those are two guys that potentially we could see in the NHL by the end of this regular season. Potentially. Someone else on Twitter tagged us and said the guy that we might be forgetting is John Mustard. That was from their Twitter name was PoopFart420.
Oh, I know them.
Yeah. So they said
it's my wife.
Exclude John Mustard, who is leading Providence in scoring. So again, another guy that was not a high pick. I think he was a third-round pick. And we only really remember him because his last name is Mustard, but he's starting to, push himself up that prospect pipeline and get on the radar. And honestly, there's just a lot of pick your prospect and you can find things to be excited about.
Yeah, Kanserov, Boisvert, West, Nestrasil. Mm-hmm. And when are we going to get our Samuel Savoie? Come on.
Hey,
it's time for Savoie to make his NHL debut.
I love Samuel Savoie.
He might never play in the NHL.
He might be one of these guys that's just leapfrogged.
Yeah.
And it's how it works out sometimes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's my dude. Oh, well. We got any more?
Oh, we got plenty.
Oh, let's go. G-Bubs says, would you or maybe a friend of the show be able to really dig into the stats for Bedard and Celebrini to take an in-depth look at their defense? Plus minus is not a great stat, but my eye test and plus minus say Bedard looks solid at 200 feet. I don't watch enough of Mac to really say. Also, I don't need one to be better than the other. Just interested in Bedard's growth. Thanks. That's a good question.
Yeah, there's I believe in the Discord there were some tools provided. Dauber Prospects has got some good tools to find that information. Icy Data is also there. Natural Stat Trick is also there. But I think as we're looking at least in Bedard's sense, the chances for and against, the shots for and against, like that does tell one story. But I think for him specifically and individually, it's more or less like how are you playing defense? Not necessarily what the numbers show, but how are you doing it? Are you what he was doing before was kind of like skating by, throwing your stick out there, trying to, and that's not cherry pick, but like not really playing the style of defense that like really is like a defensive style. It's more like I'm in the defensive zone, but I'm that first chance I can get to jump out of the zone with the puck, I'm going for it. It's a lot of what Jeff Blashill kind of preaches against. The poke and hope that he talked about. Just only playing for 50-50 stick battles and cheating for offense. Like Bedard had some of those tendencies defensively. I haven't seen that a lot from him this year.
I agree.
I've seen a lot more of playing on the puck, playing on the defender, or defending on the player, and being more engaged defensively. He's been better with his stick this year, which is great to see. But it's a lot of the position. And a lot of it too. Defense in hockey comes down to: do you want to do it or do you not? And I think this year we've seen a more collective buy-in from the group, but including Bedard, that the want to play defense is there, because if you put in the hustle, you put in the energy, and you do it the right way, you're not going to have to play defense a long time because you're going to turn it back into offense. So I think we're seeing a lot of that difference from Bedard. Again, I can't speak to how Celebrini plays defense. His player profile is more of that all-around two-way center. I think early on, statistics don't say he's the next, Patrice Bergeron.
Right.
But I think he has those elements of his game that are in there. And then again, the analytics, Blackhawks have been bad the last few years, so the analytics don't favor them. Same thing with the Sharks. They've been bad, so the analytics don't favor them as well. But it really just kind of comes down to how you are playing defense. And I think for Bedard, it's a mentality change.
I'm looking I saw a stat, and I can't find it. I'll try to find it for tomorrow, where it was like stick checks, board battles, passes broken up, and it was comparing the two of them. And Bedard was ahead in a lot of them. So it's not. I don't think the gap is as vast as it seems. Now, we got to keep in mind, too, it's a pretty small sample size of the season so far. So we'll see how it plays out, of course. But,
we're almost to 1/4 of the season. Yeah. So I think starting to get the sample size that you can say these players are trending in this way and the team is trending in.
I'm talking about it's a small sample size to compare the two.
Sure.
But definitely the defense from Bedard has been better. Mm-hmm. Even if you want to just go into expected goals for and against, last year, shots for percentage, he was 42%. This year he's 45%. Expected goals against last year was 67.82. This year 14.83. That's a number. Percentage was 41.67. This year 44.34. That's expected goals. So that's better offensively. You're starting to see the numbers that represent defense going up.
Yeah,
trending in the right direction.
And Bedard doesn't need to be a Selke candidate.
No one ever thought. No. I mean, Patrick Kane in his prime was usually in like the 40s in possession numbers. Mm-hmm. He just was not a guy. The skill that Patrick Kane had and still has is control the puck and generate that one amazing scoring chance per shift with a great pass or a great shot or having great hands. It was pretty rare you would see Patrick Kane just dominate a shift where it'd be like shot after shot after shot. He was like a predator in that way where he would just kind of skate through, wait for his opportunity, take it when he got it, kind of a one and done thing. And I don't mean that as a criticism. It's just a style of play.
Yeah. We're going to continue this conversation in overtime. So if you're watching, head over to allchgo.com to continue. If you're watching on Fast Channel, if you're on YouTube, hey, there you are. I think the charts and graphs of Patrick Kane, I think for his career, it's going to be like he was in the top 99th percentile offensively, and he was in the bottom 2 percentile defensively for his career. Like that just wasn't his game. And I think he did get away with it in his prime because he was putting up 70, 80, 100 points. Whereas Bedard, like we're seeing him get to that point now in his career where he can put up 70, 80 points in a season or more with the pace that he's going at right now. So if you have a guy that's putting up those types of numbers offensively, and then also like his speed has increased, the way he's playing defense has changed and is a more successful style of defense in the NHL, that's really all you can ask for. As he matures in his game all around, like those things are going to grow. So if you have a guy that you can throw out there and say like he's not going to kill us defensively, and he's going to create offense the way that he can, like that's a fantastic player.
Yes. Let's do one more before we wrap up the show. Want to pick a good one? That one's long.
So that's a long one. From Hitch.
This one from Hitch. We continue to talk about free agency and cap casualty acquisitions being less of an option to build a team with cap continuing to increase, but that can't last forever, right? I would think that all these larger contracts being handed out will result in most teams ending up right back against the cap again. It looks like teams giving out $10 million AAV deals to guys who could have been worth only 6 or 7 a couple years ago.
We did it. We're awesome.
Doesn't that eat up all this newly found cap flexibility? Aren't we really only in this new cap environment until the spending catches up in a few years? If so, the Hawks are in a great spot having a GM like Kyle from Chicago who is able to consistently sign guys long-term at what is seemingly below market. It's a good point. I do think you're right. Yes, eventually we're going to get right back to where we were.
Yeah, I think the NHL will find some sort of plateau of growth financially at some point.
Yeah.
And then, the salary cap's not going to increase by $7-8 million per season as we're seeing it do right now. But I think for the Hawks, like, I mean, look, you did it for your Blackhawks beat a few weeks ago. They have to spend like $30 million.
$20 million to get to the floor.
Yeah, to get to the floor.
Yeah. Like 20, give or take $20 million.
Yeah. So even when we're talking about like, oh, what's Bedard's contract going to be? And it's just like, oh my goodness, we're going to pay him $15 million. Well, like, yeah, you kind of have to pay him like $15 million, like, because eventually that will be market value or hopefully under less. Market value.
Yes.
But it also like that helps the $25 million you have to spend to get to the floor next season and season after that and after that. So
and just to beyond the need to spend to get to the floor, it sounds easy. Like, oh yeah, great, go sign a bunch of guys, but there's no roster spots.
Right. Yeah.
There's really not. Like, look, and if someone like Martin Nate just signed, so he's out of the question. I actually had written that. Yeah. And then he signed like that day, so I had to edit all of Martin
The big
H.
guy
stuff.
right now that isn't signed that probably could hit the market is Panarin, who I don't think is going to get signed by the Hawks, but that's your top fish in the market right now. Well, I'm just saying, like, that is the guy.
No, I know, but
so if you're going
saying,
to overpay, if you're going to pay a guy in free agency, that's the guy that everyone's going to want to try and give the most money to.
Yeah, I just don't know if what is he, 33?
I think so, yeah.
How much does he have left? Like, so if I'm giving a big money contract to somebody, I want it to be someone who's going to be still effective when the Hawks are legitimately competing for Stanley Cups. Right now they're competing for a playoff spot. Mm-hmm. When they're legitimately competing for Stanley Cups, I think that's 2-3 years away. I don't know if 35, 36-year-old Artemi Panarin is going to be that guy.
Probably.
I'd rather just give young guys an opportunity to make the team. Maybe you find a trade for somebody.
Yeah, I think that's probably going to be part of the equation. Yeah. I think you mentioned earlier, you got the prospects, you have the draft capital still.
He's 34 right now.
34, right? Okay, yeah. Well,
just turned 34, but still.
Well, yeah, I think the draft capital, the prospects that they have, like you could package something somewhere to get one of those guys that's got either already has a big money or is due big money and is not going to get it from his current club. That kind of fits the group, fits the timeline. Like that's probably more or less your more likely route if you're going to try and get a guy that's going to help you salary cap wise and also on the ice, not just we need a roster filler who we're going to give $6 million to who's only worth $2 million.
All I'm saying,
I don't think you're going to do that.
Is that at the end of the 27-28 season, there's a big UFA available who may be very desperate to win a Stanley Cup. That is Connor McDavid.
Mm-hmm. You think he's going to get all the way to the end of that contract in Edmonton?
I don't know.
Might not.
If the Edmonton Oilers are moving on from Connor McDavid, they're certainly rebuilding, and they could certainly use some draft capital or good prospects that maybe are blocked out of a team that's already loaded with prospects.
Hey, at this trade deadline,
McDavid for mustard. Who says no?
If the Oilers are out of a playoff spot and the Hawks are in the playoff push and they got all this young talent, Connor McDavid might want to go cup chasing with the young team.
That's right.
Like Marian Hossa did.
I'm just saying, I know it is. Just think about the timeline of it. The Blackhawks in 3 years. That is
that's two
very...
right? 26, 27, 27, 28.
So
at the end of 2 seasons. Yeah.
End of 3. This year's 25, 26.
2 seasons.
Next year's 26, 27.
Sure, okay, I guess.
So, yeah. So after 26, 27, the Hawks should be pretty fully developed prospect-wise.
Yeah.
And then add that dude.
Bedard will be, what, 23? Nazar will be 24.
McDavid would be a great second-line center on his team. Maybe third behind Nazar.
Yeah. Oliver Moore would be, what, 23, 24-ish? Frondell would be like 21.
Arden Lepshinov will be 22.
Lepshinov will be 22. Like, it's going to be a fun team.
Like, I know it sounds meatball-y, but if you're Connor McDavid and you're looking at the scenery,
and if the Blackhawks have to reach the floor again,
and you're looking at where the NHL's headed in 3 years,
$27 million to Connor McDavid.
Find me a team in 3, and plus, okay, so fine, let's play it all out. We're in overtime anyway. Teams that we expect will be towards the top of the league.
If the Bears get to do 15 minutes of Mark Carman music videos, we can do 10 extra minutes of hockey talk.
But like, so you think the Sharks will be pretty good then too?
They plan to be.
The Ducks are already on their way, right? A couple others will either stick around or surprise. Mm-hmm. But if you're Connor McDavid and you're trying to do what's best for your career, what's best for your brand, do you want to go play on the West Coast and have 10 o'clock start times on the East Coast?
He's already doing that.
Right. Or do you want to come to Chicago, an original 6 team, a top 3 market, and win Stanley Cups with that young core? I'm rooting interest aside. That argument, if I'm Kyle Davidson, that's the conversation I'm having with Connor McDavid's agent. If it gets to that point, is hey, look, it worked for Marian Hossa. Look where we're at. Look how competitive we are. We're going to be competitive. Connor Bedard is 23. We're going to be competitive for at least 10 more years. You're telling me if we add Connor McDavid to this roster, we're not going to win a Stanley Cup? I don't know.
Don't say it didn't. It can't happen. It can happen.
I think it can. All right, we're going to end the show finally. Thanks for being with us. We're at 145 likes. 5 of you hit that like button. Let's get to 150. We will be back tomorrow. The Hawks are practicing tomorrow.
Hey, they're back home.
So we will have some news from the room,
some stuff to
some
talk
conversation. About. We'll get a vibe check.
Got some leftover mailbags.
Yeah, we'll have a big full show for you tomorrow, and then remember
maybe some more surprise guests. Tell us who else needs to be
called
to defend their takes. We'll reach out to them and we'll get their Ring cameras going as well.
Yes, exactly. And then remember Wednesday night's game at home, 8:30 start time, probably 8:50.
They're playing the Devils,
so that's gonna be a fun game. That is a status check game. For the Hawks.
Yeah, Devils are a good team.
Yep. Should be a lot of fun. We'll talk to you tomorrow at 2:30 right here on the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.